Hello YouTube and welcome to a new video. So today I'm playing against MihailNapoleon and I'm playing a 15+10 game. So we're going to see where that leads us. I'm going to play this variation. And he says hi. And I'm going to write that back as well, of course. So the Caro-Kann is really just a drawish line or drawish opening if you play it, I believe, but I haven't been playing it in quite a time actually, so this will be fun. And we are not playing the standard or classical line. So if it takes on f6, I think that I will take with my g pawn, just because if I do that I'm going to castle queenside and maybe he will be frightened to castle kingside himself. Maybe not, we'll see. I'm going to play my bishop on place my bishop on f5 just to develop and get my knight onto d7 later. He plays d3, alright. So what is going on here? Bishop to f4. So he really doesn't want to do anything that can attack his king. And at the moment, if he tries to castle kingside, bringing his king to the g1 square, I have rook to g8, and there's going to be a huge pressure along the g file. So I'm going to play my queen to b6, attacking this pawn, and also getting more developed. Now I really want to play e5 once you played b3 there, and maybe even bishop to g7. And b3 actually suggests that he is not going to castle queenside, just because that weakens too many dark squares around his king. Okay. Bishop g7 is an alternative right away, just to get my bishop more active, but then he'll probably play rook c1, let's say, and I really don't know if that is the diagonal I want my bishop on. e5 on the other hand actually suggests that my bishop can go both ways. The only problem with e5 right away is bishop to e3. If he plays that, then I might just bring my queen back to c7. I have the option of playing c5, weakening my king side. I mean my queen side, but I want to castle that way. Also I have bishop to c5, just further trading down pieces. I'm a bit cramped right now, but his bishop on e2 is really a bad piece as well. So it's yeah, and if bishop to c5, then he has to capture, and I probably have to capture back with my queen. If I capture with my knight, I think he can play d4 and gain some more space and get his bishop more active right away. He can do that, and no, he can't do that. I can't take with my knight. That's the problem. Yeah, I'm seeing things. He can't play d4 if I take with my queen, because then I can take on c2. But is that preferable? If I play bishop g7, that is really just kind of a sad move to have to make, just because if I want my bishop on the dark squares around on the queen side instead, then I might be in some trouble. But I'm going to play e5, and then I have this check first. Even if he plays bishop to e3, I'm going to check him first, just because a check is fun, and further disadvantaging his pieces. I think that might work. Unless he plays bishop to d2 right away, in which I think I can just play bishop c5 and attack the f2 pawn, so forcing him to castle pretty much. But I think bishop e3 is probably a good idea. If bishop g3, that bishop is going to be terrible. Although I might not have anything down the g file for a while. Then I might have to come up with something like h5, h4, or even sacrificing this pawn for getting both of my rooks actually on h and g file, just to have some pressure along those files. But we'll see. We'll see what he comes up with. I'm not too worried about stretching out my pawn structure here, just because he is kind of playing it really slow. He is kind of cramped with his bishop on e2, and with e5 I'm also restricting his knight from ever coming to d5 in the future. Why did I say d5? I meant d4. Sorry, guys. But what other moves does he have? I don't really see it. Like he could play bishop back to c1 and trying to shadow it, or even play his bishop on a3 if I ever move my bishop onto g7 or h6. But that is too much if and whys. I don't think that's a good idea. That also neglects his development with his rook, right? Yeah, bishop e3. So I'm kind of glad he didn't play bishop g3, just because I really want that open g file, or semi-open g file for my rook. Yeah. And note, for those of you who just might think I had a tactic previously, I did not. So I'm going to go back and let you think about this. If I were to play this move, checking the white king, attacking the bishop as well, he could actually just drop his bishop back to d2, and I didn't actually gain anything from that. I would just be kicked away again. So that would not be preferable for me. I think I'm going to play this check, bishop b4. So now I'm guessing knight back to d2. I don't think king f1 is such a good idea. He actually drops back with his bishop. Okay. Even more interesting. Now I really want to play just rook to g8. He has knight to h4 in that case. And after bishop e6 he might even have bishop to g4. So maybe I should play h5 first. I'm also thinking about castling. But right now I don't really feel like that is a necessity. I feel like I should bring out more power to the position. Like my rook on the d file doesn't really do much right now. I mean, after castling I can play e4 maybe. But he's opting to trade queens, isn't he? But if I castle and he takes on b4, I take back with check. He plays queen to d2, then I have queen to g4. But queen g4 meets h3, doesn't it? And after h3 is like, if I capture on g2... No, alright. I am safe there. I can go back. So rook h2 does not lead to the capture of my queen. But it is kind of annoying. But it might be very annoying for him as well. Yeah. So, going back and forth, choosing between several moves here. Rook g8 forces him to play g3 or knight h4. Or rook g1. Maybe even bishop back to f1. I'm not suggesting him to castle there. Although that is a possibility. But then bishop h3 is really just a huge threat. Yeah. Okay. I think I might be able to castle. But what if I castle and he just neglects this bishop? And what if he instead plays knight to h4? Then bishop to e6 and bishop to g4. Then I guess I have rook to g8 right away. Takes. Knight back to f3. I don't like that much. I don't like that much. I mean, I can also go for this, as I stated first. Like bishop to c5 is forcing him to castle, pretty much. But is it enough? Okay. That looks promising at least. Why should I trade pieces anyways? He's cramped. I don't want to trade pieces. Follow the principles. Although I'm really one who wants to bend the principles and not follow them at all. Maybe actually d4 here is the best choice of his. Just pushing his pawn further, and gets me to play e captures d4. Maybe not, but that at least doubles up these pawn without having any support for this guy on e5. Alright. So, I'm not entirely sure what he should play. But if I was white in this position, I think that I would at least kind of think about d4. Bishop e3 is terrible due to this capture right there. Okay, so he castles. Rook g8. Rook g8, knight h4. Maybe just h5 first. h5 and then knight h4. Bishop g6 is an idea. Just keeping the bishop, and if he tries to take it, I take back with my f pawn, and I think that's good for me. Just getting more pressure. I think h5 is a good move. Because I don't think knight h4 is actually a huge threat. And after, if I do this, yeah, okay. So he plays b4. So if I take, he's saying that he's going to play rook to b1, which is not good for me. So I'm just going to go back to d6 with my bishop and probably be happy about that. Okay. So now I think I can play c5. He's lashing out his moves quite fast, this guy. c5 also kind of weakens the d3 pawn. But c4, I think I can play c5 here. c5. Again, rook to b1 is probably one of his best moves right now, I think, or a3. So rook b1 falls into the same idea that if after this I take here, he can take and I take and he can play a3. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, he gives up his bishop, but he gets more active in the process of doing so, and he's gonna win this bishop back. Again, I think knight h4 was a better choice, but like, all his pieces is on the king side. He needs to get more mobility there first, or at least bring his pieces out, or try to trade down. So knight h4 I think was the better choice. Again. But who am I to judge, right? Maybe the computer suggests that this is the best. These are the best moves. Wouldn't be the first time, right? So he's having a bit of a think himself. I think that's a good idea, because these pawns on c4 and d3 is kind of just stopping this bishop from ever getting out on this this diagonal right here. So he has to play this move, but even after that, bring his bishop to f3, even though he has this diagonal right here, I don't think it's enough. I really don't. This is weak, this will be weak, and there's not a good way to defend, I think. Yeah, so bishop e3 was also a good move. I think I can play h4 now, stopping knight h4, because it's not really threatening to capture on c5. I'm just going to take back my bishop there. I think I'm just going to lash out here. Let's see what it does. Maybe rook to b1. Maybe that's a good idea. Actually, I think that is the best idea. Then I have to go back to c7. Okay, he plays h3 first. Doesn't want me to interrupt his king side. Now I'm thinking king into e7. I believe my king is quite safe there for now. So if I castle, he might have something on the b file and his bishop, if that bishop ever goes to f3. So I am liking that more and more. Although maybe just a precautious move with queen to c7 first. Maybe that is a good choice as well. Just stepping out of this pin. I like both. King e7 is more direct, but is it necessary? Like, am I gaining anything from getting this rook to g8 right away? Let's say king e7, rook b1, rook g8. Then I can't even play rook to g8, then I have to play queen to c7 first. And king e7 also kind of stops my bishop from ever getting down here, although I have these squares right there. Okay. But yeah, this position needs... I have spiced it up so much that I really need to continue the spicing. I really don't think I can do much else. So if rook b1, queen to c7 first, and then rook a to g8. The reason why I can't play rook h to g8 is because I really like this pawn. It stops him from ever playing g3 immediately. Like, this pawn helps me out so much. I don't want to give it away for free. Even though I win this h3 pawn, I still believe that helps him quite a bit. So he takes immediately, alright. Then I'm gonna have to take back with the bishop. And then rook to b1 probably, and then queen to c7. Bishop captures, oh, he takes right away. Even more interesting, okay. Now, if I take my queen, I don't think he has anything. I really don't think so. After rook to b1, b6, maybe he has rook to b5, but that's easily parried with queen to c7. Not stepping into this diagonal. Okay, wow. He goes for that. I really didn't think that was working for him. Okay. So now I have an option of capturing with my pawn, doubling up these ones, and also playing queen to c7. I'm not entirely sure what I should do in this position, actually. But yeah, queen c7 seems like a good way to go, actually. Let's just go for that. And if it takes, I'm going to take back with my f pawn and play f6. Just keep that safe and sound. And even though my king is in the middle of the board, I still believe that I have some attacking chances. I really didn't consider d4 as a big threat, but maybe it was. We'll find out, I guess. Okay. Maybe I can even just play rook a to g8 if it takes. Maybe I don't even have to bother with actually capturing back. That seems kind of risky though. That would need some serious calculation. Let's see what he does. I assume he's going to capture on e5. And my phone just rang. And I'm going to decline that, of course. So yeah, maybe he should go for d captures e5. I guess that's a good option. Rook e1 might be a problem as well for me. Rook e1, rook g8, d captures e5, bishop captures h3. Nah, that... yeah, maybe I am actually better there. Maybe. Just maybe. Yeah, I think he has to take. I really do believe that. That is his only move that makes sense. Huh. So if it takes rook g8, pawn captures f6 check, king captures f6, queen d4 check, king e7, rook e1, rook fe1, I assume, then king f8. Looks scary, really looks scary. But he plays rook f to e1 right away. I thought to myself that that might be a worse position for him. Rook a g8, pawn captures e5, bishop captures h3, pawn captures f6 check, knight captures f6, then I don't know, bishop f1 maybe. This is a sharp position. Good, but I'm gonna go ahead and do this. I'm pretty confident that that works. I'm getting low on time, and even though I should focus on this particular position right now. Oh, he plays king to h1. Really? Right off the bat. That might be a good defensive move by him. Now bishop e6 looks kind of tasty, doesn't it? Trying to force him to play d5. Let's go for that. Kind of like it. It also guards from this pin, my pawn here. But now I'm the one who is actually a bit cramped. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I should have castled earlier on and gotten myself into a fine position there. Probably. But hey, it's too late now, isn't it? And I'm not threatening to actually capture on c4. Just because he has both queen to c1 or c2 and rook to c1, attacking my queen if that bishop ever moves. Again, I'm not sure what he should play. I'm really not. Huh. He's really having a long think here himself. Yeah, because pushing d5 is unnecessary for him. He wants to open things up towards my king. He really wants that pawn on e5 away. But if it takes as well on e5, I'm simply going to take back with my f-pawn and play f6. And my king will be quite safe, I will say, after those moves. But maybe he's seeing some nastiness that I can't. Maybe he's just calculating lines. So he plays c5. Interesting. Very interesting. Now I really need to open some lines for my queen to get into the action here. One way I could do that is simply playing queen to c8. Stepping away from his threat of d5, d6 ideas. So queen c8, d5, bishop f5, or bishop captures h3. Bishop captures h3 might be good as well. And after pawn captures back on h3, knight captures c5. Threatening to almost mate him, but not entirely. That's the problem. Not entirely. After queen captures h3, knight h2, then I have rook to g2. That is a mate, but I really do believe that after bishop captures h3, he can take back, and after knight captures c5, he can play bishop to g4 maybe, or bishop to f1, or even knight to g1. Yeah, no, he can't do that. Okay, queen to c8 looks really promising. I'm just going to play that. Looks really good. Really strong. Eyeing this square right here. So he goes there. Alright, now I need to calculate quite a bit. So captures, if he captures back immediately, or even plays this move check first, then my king goes to f8, then he captures, then I have knight captures c5, then he has d7, he has d7, okay, so maybe I need to keep my bishop on f5 until I can get rid of my knight. So again, captures, check, king f8, takes, knight takes here, d7, knight captures on d7, king h2, and that's pretty much, that's that, so to speak. Yeah, so maybe I have to do this. I assume that I have to. But after that move, maybe he has bishop to b5. Then I just take on c5, don't I? Yeah, I'm going to do that. Bishop to f5. Let's see what he comes up with. d6, I like it. Okay. So now I really need to calculate, and I'm a slow thinker, alright. So again, capturing here I don't think works, or does it? Capture, knight takes here, king h2, and then queen to g4. No, queen to g4 just loses on the spot. You can just take that back. What am I thinking? But okay. Then I'm gonna have to take here. And he's probably gonna take on f5 now. I think he has no other choice. I'm threatening this now, actually, knight to e4. Although he's threatening some nastiness with these moves as well. Okay. I can really play this move as well, but it doesn't seem to work. Yeah, let's play this move. Knight to e4. Probably he's going to take with his rook. Yeah, he goes for that. Now d7, King G7. Okay. So I'm actually quite happy now. I managed to get that exchange, and as soon as I can round up this pawn, which I think I can, I'll be in good shape, I believe. Rook c8 doesn't work, I simply take it. Okay, he goes there, that's fine. I'm going to play this move. Anyways, preparing for queen to f5. I don't know. Sorry about that. Now what is that? Queen to b3. Okay, I might have to play b6 in this position. Yeah, b6, rook captures a7. Doesn't do much. Does not do much, indeed. Okay, let's go here. Threaten this move, e4, and probably e3 as well. So queen captures b7 might be a bit terrifying for me, but as soon as rook to c8 comes, I can take on d7. For now, at least. Yeah. So rook g8 probably. Let's play rook g8, just to be safe. If my king has a sidestep somewhere, okay, he goes for it. Alright. Then I'm going to take that. That is kind of a bad decision by him to play rook to c8. Now he's playing really fast as well. I don't know if that is the good way to deal with this, simply because he has some issues. But alright. Let's go king to g7. And if he doesn't move his queen right now, or king, yeah, he would lose his queen. Let's go here. Trying to get this in. Now I could simply trade and push my a pawn up the board. Maybe that's the simplest. So queen f4, queen captures, e captures, knight captures h4, rook b2, king g3, rook captures a2, or if a4 I'm going to capture on f2 first. Yeah, it looks decent enough. He doesn't even have king to g3, so yeah. This is probably game over. He can throw in this check as well. It doesn't matter that much. But I need to make sure I don't give away all these pawns. Just because I really need my pawns here. In case of him getting somewhere. Yeah. King h7, probably yes. I don't really want to calculate that much. I'm low on time, and I really should get more time by playing a bit faster. Because this guy does not want to give up, it seems. And for good reason. This knight might be good enough. Let's just push actually. And if knight to c3, I'm gonna give a check and play h2. Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna say good game as always. And let's look at this game. So let's just go to this right here, and there we are. Okay. So, good game by MihailNapoleon, but he was a bit too hasty there. I think he had something way better than that. So my Caro-Kann went horribly wrong, it seems. I went for an attack as soon as he castled, and I wanted him to castle that way. So after queen to b6, bishop e3, I think is better choice. I don't really want to take here because he has rook to b1. So I'm not actually threatening to capture that pawn. I really don't see why I would do that. That weakens this c pawn, and since he has 2 here and I only have 1, this c6 pawn is really gonna become a target. Even if I have this knight to b6 move after rook to takes b7, I really don't think I can trap that after rook c7 perhaps. Yeah, there's no way. That is just not happening. So queen captures b2 is not an option for me, I would say. And b3 is kind of a weakening move, but he did manage to do well with that move as well, with c4 and d4 later. Because here, if I let him trade, now I take back, like I'm trading off his only good piece, but still I'm managing him to get his queen to d2, and after queen to g4, as I said, he can castle or play g3 and bring his bishop down here and foreshadowing that. And even though I have this open g file, it might be a bit weird of me for doing that, but still, maybe just castling here, as I mentioned, is good, or even in this position, castling here. Yeah. So probably castling here is a better choice just because of this open e-file. I thought to myself that there's no way he can actually attack that because he can never play d4. But that's simply not the case because I underestimated b4. I didn't see that move. So after b4 my bishop is getting kicked back, and then it is hopeless pretty much. But I decided to play h5 first, just because I really didn't want him to go here, and if he went there I could play bishop to g4 myself. That's defending that bishop again. Well, that was not my idea actually. My idea was after knight h4, bishop e6, and then stopping bishop to g4. That was my idea with h5, of course. And yeah, he didn't go for any of that. I think knight h4, a move earlier. Maybe he didn't have time to actually do that. Yeah, maybe b4 is a really good move. Knight h4, maybe b4 is a really strong move. And then now c4. Trying to get into this fork right there. I'm not allowing him to do that, so I'm playing c5 and bishop to e3. h4, trying to block his knight from getting to h4 himself, trying to gain some space and attack at the same time. h3. Yeah, there's no possible way that I'm gonna actually sacrifice my bishop on h3 at this moment. But I'm curious later about if that bishop captures h3 actually works. And here, I think you should take. Not that, but here. I really do think he should take. I think he overextended quite a bit. Although, good intentions with this move, c5. Planning to play d5 and then d6. Forking my queen and king. But of course, that is something that is kind of easy to see when you have enough time to think. And, well, it was an easy threat to parry. And I don't think that this d-pawn is actually any good in the endgame there. After this move, I really wanted to play this bishop captures h3. I don't think that's a good idea, but we'll look it up with the engine later. And after d6, king f8, yeah. And here he kind of has to take here. I don't think there's much else he can do. If he plays d7, I'm going to take back with my bishop or queen. Probably with my queen actually. And I'll be 2 pawns up. That's not a good idea. So allowing me to capture on c5 was a bad decision. I think that's where he lost the thread actually. Bishop d3. Maybe he should have played rook to c1. Probably that's a better choice. Because then if I take here, he doesn't have queen to c2 because of my bishop. But after knight captures c5, maybe then he can play bishop to d3. So showing this line, yeah, sorry. So rook to c1 first, then knight captures c5, bishop d3, and if this move, then he can take. I take. He takes here with check, and after these kind of moves, he can simply go here, and he's a piece up. No, he's not. What am I talking about? He's not a piece up, but he has good compensation. That's what I meant. Or at least that was what I was thinking. Even though I didn't mean that. I really thought that he was a piece up, but no. Yeah. I think I'm in worse shape here. Although I have this move. So maybe rook to e2, but still. Yeah. Maybe not. Maybe I'm still winning this endgame. Maybe. If I manage to get this pawn. So he's going to capture on h4 pretty soon. And it might be a race. But I have 2 against 1 on this side of the board. And yeah. If I get to trade rooks, especially, I'm gonna win. I'm pretty sure of. But okay, let's go. Knight captures c5 in this position. So bishop d3. I think bishop d3 was a mistake. Knight captures c5. Bishop captures f5. Queen captures. And now comes rook to c1. I think that's one move too late because my queen is actually guarding the c8 square. So even though I can move my knight, like I'm not sure if he's forced to take here on e4, but what other choices does he have? He can play here. Yeah, I'm not sure. So I can take. And then bring his other rook into the d file. Maybe that is a good decision. Then playing queen to e6, probably. Now rook c7. And after king to g7, I might not be losing in this position, but I think I'm a bit worse. I really do believe I'm worse. Yeah, so here I could actually play e4 if I wanted to. And after takes, I can take here. So let's look at that. Maybe that's a good decision for me. Although this move is terrible. So I'm going to lose the... No, actually, I am quite alright after this move. Because of rook h to f8. Alright. That's interesting. But these passive rooks is not something I would love to play with. Make up your own joke there. But yeah, he took with his rook. And yes, I could have played this move as well. But I was really unsure what would happen after this move. I take, and then he takes. Because then this pawn looks like a bigger threat. Just because after d7, my queen has to step to d8 or c7. And then he can sidestep his rook onto the d file. And his knight is really annoying once he gets down to, let's say, c5. So I had little time, so I went for the more funny variation. I thought this was more fun because it attacks this one, even though it does that from this square as well. I thought that this move was a bit annoying. So here, I can't take. Maybe that's what was. Maybe that's what I was thinking. All the way, actually. Yeah, queen to c2. That is just too embarrassing to meet when you're in time trouble. What are you gonna play here, right? What is black gonna play? I mean, you can play e4, king g7. So let's say king g7. Now here, that's terrible. I have to give away this knight for a pawn. That's not favorable for me. And let's say rook h5 then. Then I actually think he has this move, and I think he can. No, of course not. But yeah, because then I can actually take. But yeah, I didn't like that for some reason. Rook captures e4. He took, and I took back. So maybe this pawn push was too much. Maybe he should have gone for something like rook to c7 instead immediately. But I would still go with king to g7 and bring my other rook into the d file. And I think this pawn is gonna. Yeah. So right here, he made the last or biggest mistake, rook to c8. Probably the biggest mistake because it just gives away the whole position, right? So I saw that after I played this queen to f5 move, that if it takes on b7, he doesn't have that because I can take on d7. That's partially the reason why I played it. And if it takes with his rook, well, he doesn't bring his queen into the game at least. So that's what I was thinking. I was also considering b6, but I thought that this move was more annoying to me because now this pawn is weak as well. And even though he, after this move, he can take here as well, after queen to f5, I thought that e4 was good in some lines there, or some variations. So yeah, now rook c8 is just, that should be game over. Now, once he did that, he has to go here. Well, move his queen somewhere at least, or move his king up to h2. Because if it doesn't, let's play a silly move, then this move happens. And he's going to lose his queen in the next move. I guess everyone saw that. So yeah, after queen to c1, I was just thinking, how can I trade down more or force some weird moves? So if he takes here, I think that this move is really good and really strong. I wouldn't bother with rook to b1 if he played knight to h4, even though I could do that and still be a rook for the knight up. I would lose this pawn without anything to go for. But yeah, after these moves, even though these pawns are tripled, there's really not much he can do with his pawns right here, because this pawn is so easily taken by me. As I do right here. He can even try this move, but then rook to a2, and that's a goner. So he goes down, but there's really not much the king can do, because yeah, if the king moves, I'm just simply going to take these pawns, and that's game over as well. I can even trade the rook for the knight then, because I have tempos with my pawns here, so that even though I'm in Zugzwang, he will still lose. Well, then I can't be in Zugzwang, can I? But yeah. Yeah, this is just game over. So there was this, I wanted to look at this one particular sacrifice. So let's see if we can make that happen. And I have to adjust the board, of course. So let's see here. Maybe I can go here actually. Nope, that's not it. Okay, let's just adjust this. Yeah, let's go to my previous thing here, my previous setup, and let's go for this. There we are. So let's go through the game and see what should happen. Okay, so this is quite good for white. Bishop e3. As I said, I think that's the best choice, and the computer agrees, of course. Knight h4 is also a good move right away. Maybe. Well, not maybe. The computer is always right. Right? But now, as the computer suggests, I've equalized. And he actually likes e5, it seems more. No, rook g8. He likes rook g8. Wow, that's interesting. I really didn't feel like that was such a good move, just because, I don't know, reasons. But okay, the computer suggests bishop to e3 instead. Alright, maybe, but I've equalized it at least. e5, and now bishop to e3. And does the computer agree with the bishop to b4? It does, it seems. And now it says queen to c7 is even stronger. But just a tiny fracture though. Okay. So what should I play here? Again, rook g8. Really? Really? And castles. Alright. So he wants me to castle and play rook g8. Yeah. I didn't do that, of course. I played bishop to c5. And he castled. And he's in good shape, it seems. And again, I should have castled. Alright. Or played rook g8. But yeah, I did not. I played h5, which is maybe a blunder. Let's see. Yeah, the computer kind of doesn't like it, but it's not fatal. Not yet. b4, alright. Now bishop e7 was a better choice instead of bishop to d6. Okay. Yep. Queen c7, alright. c5. I think c5 is the only move there. Maybe not. Okay, c5 is not the best option. Bishop e7 still is the best option. Alright, let's continue. And still I have the option of castling. Computer likes that. I did not. I played h4. And let's skip ahead to where I could have captured on h3 in this position right here. Okay. Now, what does the computer think? Yeah, okay, so it thinks knight captures c5 is a better choice. I think this does not lead to anything. Yeah, okay. That is winning for white. Alright, thank you guys so much for joining in and watching this video. It has been quite fun. And thank you to my opponent, who managed to at least uphold a really strong position, an attacking position. See you later. Bye.